Make sure you bring a sample.
So we're back in the random episode of the NBA 2K17 Cincinnati Stingers MyLEAGUE. So last episode we went and simmed another season of the Cincinnati Stingers MyLEAGUE, and your season wasn't the greatest at all. We did end up missing the playoffs, but one thing that's good about missing the playoffs is you do get a pick in the lottery draft, and our pick I believe is like 12th or 13th. Move down to 7th overall and select our new power forward, Lynn Morgan. Lynn Morgan, he can make a big difference on this team this year, and look at he is, number 35, Kevin Durant's number, slamming it down there on the Heat. So I mean, Lynn Morgan, not too bad of a player. He's a decent power forward with some potential, and you never know what a little bit of potential could go far in a career. But we also have Tyler Ulis at point guard this year, back at it again. He's a pretty good playmaker, great player to have around for morale and all kind of stuff. But Ulis is our point guard this season. We have Shane Wheeler at shooting guard, Tatum at small forward, Lynn Morgan at power, Nerlens Noel at center, Norman Powell at 6-man. We have Scal on the bench, Damian Jones, Jeremy Lin Sanity, and Archie Goodwin and Cole Aldridge on the bench. But checking out our team right now, we do have the Stingers 40-42 last season. Our staff, not too bad as staff right there. When it comes to that, we're 5th when it comes to power ranking, which is pretty surprising. But look at this, the Stingers finally cut that side exclusive player, Stuart Clancy. Don't let the door hit him on the way out. Hashtag good riddance.
Good riddance.
But now moving on to power rankings, though, we do have number 5 there in NBA.com. 2K right now, we are 17th in the power rankings, and Mark Spears has us in 5th. So we have a little bit of potential to do well this season. Hopefully you can make the playoffs and finally go far in the playoffs this year. But we start off 2-0, 3-1. Our season, not too bad. We start off pretty good, but eventually we end up sucking halfway through the season. That screws our entire record and our win-loss ratio. But right now, 3rd in the Eastern Conference. The Hornets still doing very well, 21-7. They're killing it. But right now, we're above 500, 19-16, not 21-17. We do always win a few games. Then we go on a big losing streak, like losing 7 in a row. But we do like our winning streaks, as right now at the award races, we have Steph Curry, number 1 MVP. But Lynn Morgan, not number 1 in Rookie of the Year. Javon Erickson, the first power forward taken in the draft, is right now number 1 in Rookie of the Year. But Lynn Morgan has a little bit of potential on him. Hopefully he can go and fulfill that potential eventually. But most improved player, we do have Shane Wheeler up there in 4th place, so 22.8 points per game, leading the team in points once again. But 21-21, 27-21 here. Here we start off losing, like we lose to the Bulls, the Rockets, the Pelicans, the Knicks. We finally win against the OKC Thunder. But we always end up losing against the 76ers. We finally win there against them there. But going into the All-Star break, we do actually have an All-Star this year in Shane Wheeler. You have Giannis Antetokounmpo on the Heat as an All-Star, and so on Western Conference All-Stars, same old, except Nikola Jokic is an All-Star this year. 3-point contest, we have Shane Wheeler up there against Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving, CJ McCollum, and the crew. But going on to the stars, we have Lynn Morgan as a star this season, and we have Javon Erickson on the leads. So right here, we're going to pull off a trade. We're going to pull off Doug McDermott and CJ Miles for a 1st-round pick from the Clippers and Diamond Stone. So Doug McDermott and CJ Miles, we don't even use them at all. Might as well go and trade them for 1st-round pick, because that could be actually very valuable trade chip in the future. But going on to simulating after the All-Star break, we are 33-28. We're doing not too bad, actually. We're in a playoff spot. That's all what matters at this point, as we're finally above 500 going into the next half of the season. But at this point in the season, we're kind of dropping right there. Right now, we're 7th in the conference. We're almost at our playoff spot, now 8th. We're out of the playoffs on the very last day, and we make it in with a W. So Steph Curry's our MVP after that season. Malcolm Little is the Rookie of the Year. Brandon Knight, 6th Man of the Year. Anthony Davis is Defensive Player of the Year. Jacob Ball is Most Improved. I don't know how Shane Wheeler didn't get Most Improved, but Michael Goodrich is Coach of the Year. 60 wins with the Hornets. That's crazy good. Moving on to the All-Star teams, of the All-NBA teams, you have Shane Boyd on there, Damian Lillard on the 2nd team. All defensive, we have a few players, Manuel Moody on the defensive 2nd team. Rookie 1st team, you have Lynn Morgan on there, which is pretty cool to see that. So another 1st all-team rookie in Lynn Morgan on the squad. So I like seeing that all the time with these rookies. But 9.7 points per game he averaged this season, so I mean, it's not the greatest season, but still it's not too bad. But just Shane Wheeler out 1 to 2 weeks with the strained left quad. He led us in points with 21.8. Rebounds with Nerlens Noel. Ulis with assists, obviously. And looks like a lot of players led us in different categories. Like Jason Tatum partly led us in field goals made per game, but whereas Shane Wheeler led us in 3-point shots. But when it comes to Eastern Conference standings, we do finish 7th, right ahead of the Detroit Pistons. It looks like the Milwaukee Bucks just missed the playoffs, but the Golden State Warriors number 1 in the Western Conference there with 59 wins. So I guess same old looking Western Conference and Eastern Conference there for the NBA. But we're going to play the Toronto Raptors in the 1st round. We're finally make the playoffs. We win the 1st game there. Second game, the Raptors take game 2 of the series. We take game 3, make it 2-1 series here in Cincinnati. Now going back to Toronto, they win game 4 to make it a 2-2. We win game 5, make it 3-2. Right now we're back in Cincinnati here trying to finish off the series, move on to the second round for the first time in franchise history, and we pull it off. 90-75 win for the boys, and look at that, Shane Wheeler 30 points on that 10 and 19, 3 for 9. Gotta love those numbers by our man Shane Wheeler leading the team in points this year. But going to the Raptors though, they have Marcus Morris, they have Kyle Lowry, and they have Justin Anderson, who just betrayed us in the offseason, signing with Toronto. It's always cool to see us winning against former players on the squad. But going into the next round, we're facing the 76ers. We take game 1, they take game 2. Now game 3, they take game 3 to make it a 2-1 series. Now 3-1 for them. We're basically on our knees at this point. We're getting to get shot and killed and taken out of the playoffs. But going into this one, we actually win this game to make it all 3-2 series. So we got to go in the next one in order to stay alive. But at least we're doing not too bad when it comes to points. Whereas the 76ers, so 3-2 series here, we're on our knees. We got to go and win this one somehow. We're back in Cincinnati. We have to win this game in order to stay alive. But they take the first half and the second half and win this one 115-99 final. So we lose out of the playoffs. We're eliminated from the playoffs. But at least Shane Wheeler played well, picking up 24 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. And the rest of the boys played well, I guess, to end off the season. So not too bad of a season by the Stingers. We played better than I thought we would. I didn't even think we'd make it past the first round if we did make the playoffs, but we played well enough to win, and we just lost the 76ers. The 76ers are basically, they're a worse team than us, yet they're a better team than us. I have no idea how they do it, but going on to the rest of the playoffs, we're going to sim the rest of the playoffs, obviously, and it looks like the 76ers and the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals, but the Celtics make the finals, and they win in 7 games against the Phoenix Suns, so your Boston Celtics are the NBA champions, but Dennis Smith takes home Finals MVP for the Celtics, 87 overall. He's progressed very fine, but going to the player retirements, you have Tyson Chandler, Melo, Sean Livingston, Monte Ellis, but Melo here, obviously not too bad of last season for him. They have Kyle Lowry, Rajon Rondo, and a former Stinger himself, Michael Beasley. We picked him in the expansion draft a few years back. Also, you have DeMarre Carroll, Aaron Aflalo, Amir Johnson, so a lot of former Raptors there on that list, but we also have Jake Layman there too to end that off. Going to staff retirements, we have nobody notable there. Hall of Fame retirements, or inductees, sorry. We have Melo going to the Hall of Fame. Jersey retirements, you have Kyle Lowry getting his number 7 retired by the Raptors, and Melo getting his number 7 retired by the Knicks, and 15 by the Nuggets. So 2 numbers retired for Melo, the Hall of Famer. And now they're going to go and decrease the shot clock to 20 seconds next season. So the rule about this franchise thing is that I'm not going to overturn any rules the NBA wants to approve. And plus, I'm going to approve any rules I want to anyway. So if they're going to decrease the shot clock to 20 seconds, plus we're going to go and extend the get ball offense, allowed only 6 seconds to advance the ball to the next half, or the next court. But going into the NBA draft lottery, we do not really have a notable pick there. It's just Kings top 5, else the Cincinnati Stingers. So if they make it out of the top 6, like 7th overall, we get their pick. But it looks like they get 10th overall, they drop back, we get their 10th overall pick in this NBA draft. So at least we have a trade chip for this season. I don't really want to select anybody, unless we really have to in this draft. But going into the staff signings, we're going to go and sign a new assistant GM, A+ offense, or A+ negotiations, A+ trading for that. Plus, when we go to pre-draft workouts, we're just going to go and work out a few players, just in case we want to pick somebody in the draft. So, all these players I really want to pick out. I really have no idea what I'm looking for a player for this draft, if I'm going to select anybody. Maybe a point guard would be great to have. This is based on Tyler Ulis. He shot the ball horribly this year. If you look at his shots every game, it was horrible. We're going to go trade Jeremy Lin and the 10th overall pick and second for the 8th overall pick. But one thing about this trade though is that I don't want to trade the 10th overall pick though, and I don't want to get Solinger either. So I'm going to go take out that 10th overall pick in this draft, and we're going to put out our 23rd overall, because we have a 23rd overall pick, and we're going to go pick out just a few second round picks to go and add up that trade. And they actually take that trade too. So we trade Jeremy Lin a 23rd overall pick, a few seconds for the 8th overall pick, and now we're actually seriously looking at maybe trading up to go and pick one of those players. Nick Cheeks, Reggie Moncrief, George Platten. I really have no idea who I want to get, but Nick Cheeks looks like a great player to go and select in this draft. He looks like the most NBA ready player out of all these players in this draft.
And welcome to the NBA draft. With the first pick in the NBA draft, the Washington Wizards select the 22-year-old point guard from Greece. 21-year-old shooting guard from Louisiana State University. With the third pick in the NBA draft, the Utah Jazz select Nick Cheeks from the University of Iowa.
So after Nick Cheeks was picked by the Utah Jazz, I put up my 8th and my 10th, plus a second rounder, plus it looks like we actually are able to go and trade for Nick Cheeks in this draft. So it's basically an offer I cannot refuse. A 3rd overall pick for the 8th and the 10th, plus a second rounder, which are going to be horrible picks anyway. We're going to go and obviously select this trading, pick up Nick Cheeks in this draft, or future point guard of the Cincinnati Stingers.
The Miami Heat select Reggie Moncrief from Georgetown University. With the 5th pick in the NBA draft, the Utah Jazz select Andrea Oliverio from Italy. With the 6th pick in the NBA draft, the Atlanta Hawks select Jeremy Hicks from the University. We have a trade to announce. The Dallas Mavericks select Angelo Ballesteri from Italy. With the 8th pick in the NBA draft, the Utah Jazz select Brian Burke. With the 9th pick in the NBA draft, the Houston Rockets select. We have a trade to announce. The Minnesota Timberwolves select Joanne Griffin.
The draft is a great draft for us. We picked up Nick Cheeks in that trade with the Utah Jazz. But Nick Cheeks, 81 overall, 20 years old, point guard. I mean, he's the perfect player you want to start off your franchise in the right direction. But looks like Brian Burke picked by the Jazz, 68 overall, 22 years old. I'm so glad we traded that 8th overall pick and the 10th for our man Nick Cheeks. So I mean, there's an offer I cannot refuse. Probably the worst trade, by the Utah Jazz. I'd say in history, if Nick Cheeks goes down as one of the greatest players of all time to even play at point guard. So I mean, great draft by us. We picked up the right players and extend our franchise in a winning formula for the next few years. So going in to the net free, so we're gonna go and sign Nick Cheeks to a rookie deal, only draft pick for this season. We're gonna go put our team options to Wheeler and Stone. When it comes to player options, though, a lot of players accepted their player options. It's gonna be a week free to see when it comes to the overalls and that kind of stuff. So Jamal Murray declined his. I want to see if he's on there too. So qualifying offers, we're gonna go not extend one to Alex Sweeney, just based on he's a player who's gonna most likely be playing, making minimum this season. But Tyler Ulis, he wants $15 million per year for 2 years. That's way too much. I'm so glad we picked up Nick Cheeks instead of paying Tyler Ulis $15 million for this year. That we can re-sign Scalabus here for the bench. Plus add Damian Jones on the bench too. And we could probably go and re-sign Archie Minimum at minimum for 2 years, which would be the best thing for him. He's a pretty good shooting guard coming off the bench. Plus we can probably go re-sign Cole Aldridge when he goes to the free agency. And we're going to re-sign Alex Sweeney at a 1-year minimum for the season. Plus Bertans at 1-year minimum too. So free agency, you have LeBron James, Blake Griffins. We have Jimmy Labis here. We have Jabari Parker, Shalil Okafor, Jamal Murray, Cody Zeller. So decent free agency, but really nobody really need on this team, as we have a complete team after this offseason. So Ulis, it's way too much money for what he's worth. He's a great player, but I mean, he's not $15 million yet in his career. But going on to some players we might actually re-sign, we do have Chick DL on there, but I'm going to re-sign Scalabus here, Seth Curry, Kay Felder, and Alex Sweeney to 1-year minimums, and Scalabus here to a 2-year, $18 million contract. When it goes to the centers, we're going to re-sign Bertans and Goodwin for the rest of the players. And we do have a few players we're waiting on when it comes to Aldridge and so on. But going on to the Summer League, it looks like Nick Cheeks of the Cincinnati Stingers won MVP of the 2K Summer League Championship. So Nick Cheeks Summer League MVP, but he's just starting point guard for the season. Jane Wheeler at shooting guard, Jason Tatum at small forward, Lynn Morgan at power, Nerlens Well at center, Norman Powell at 6-man, Scal on the bench, Archie Goodwin, we have Bertans, Stone, Sweetney, Aldridge, and so on. But anyway, in this episode off here, make sure to like and subscribe for more Stingers franchise mode. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one.